Redesigning systems requires courage. It requires a lot of work. It also requires understanding what systems exist and who is operating within those systems, those decision makers. But to change a system, you really need to make sure that you're including those that are impacted by the system. So oftentimes when decisions are made, there are a lot of people that are not at that table. And I think to be able to change a system, you have to include those that are impacted. Parents, children, folks from other industries that may not be in the spotlight or at the forefront of those decisions. But to change a system, you really have to change how you're operating and who's at the table.
Another mental model, maybe, or framework that I would say is harmful would be around the idea of scarcity. The idea that there's not enough for everyone and some people have to lose for other people to gain. And I think that that's a mental model that really works against a lot of the efforts that many of us in this space, in this room, are working towards.
We often think about this work as problems or deficits, as we heard from Dr. Perry, but truthfully, we are at a moment in time when we have to be thinking about the purpose and the intention behind these public systems. I think we need to do some more work to think about our own sectors. As someone in philanthropy, I know we have work to do to get more organized, to think about how we reinforce supporting issues and have clarity about the contribution we want to make so that we are actually thinking about things at an ecosystem level. Not everyone has to do the same things. Not even everyone has to think about the work the same way, but are we strategically thinking about our contribution and how it aligns and layers up to bigger change?
For philanthropy, and certainly for others who have seats at decision-making tables, one of the things is, giving up your seat. So you're not serving as an interpreter in terms of their experiences, but you are actually allowing them the seat at the table to share their own story and to talk about where they think systems need to be changed to allow for better outcomes in their particular families and certainly in communities across the state.
I think that there's an opportunity or missed opportunity to listen to the wisdom of communities and trust that they know what they need best.
Ask questions like, what are the hopes and aspirations that you have for your child? And then just let them talk. And every time I do that with groups of families, I hear the most interesting things that have often nothing to do with the policies and programs we currently support. I would love for, first of all, us to ask more open-ended questions and to share those back with policymakers, and then to invite policymakers into spaces. Too many politicians come to community events, they give their speech and they leave, which means they never hear from the community in that setting. I'd really challenge our policymakers and our politicians to come, give your speech, stay, sit, and listen.
The way to uplift the voices of families and residents is literally by asking them to participate in our research, in our publications, in our town halls. The voice is there and people are willing to share them. Are we willing to record them, to incorporate them in our work? That's the real issue here. So capturing voice is quite easy. It's having the apparatus and willingness to do so. That's more the problem.
We are in really challenging times, and I think that the very core of democracy and civil society is under attack. And we are witnessing the dismantling of certain systems before our very eyes.
I think the call to action for all of us is to both be real about the imperative and the urgency and the needs and the harm that exists for families that we serve in our communities, but we also have to balance that with hope and inspiration. People aren't motivated to move by what is wrong. It sometimes just reinforces what mental models might exist. But I think we have an important responsibility to paint a bigger aspiration that we can all see ourselves in and see all of ourselves benefiting from when we all win. So I think trying to find the balance between the two is necessary.
we often talk about this in deficit frame, and there have to be folks that are defenders, but there also have to be dreamers. And so this moment in time creates an opportunity for us to think about what are the best systems that need to be in place to support families. It feels like a chaotic moment, that there also is tremendous opportunity. And I think it's up to us collectively, so everybody has a role in meeting this moment.